Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, everybody. Hey, look, if you want to save money on my Breath is Life course and my stress management course, now is the time of the year. Click in the description box below and you will save. Am I right?
But we're here together.
We're here now.
This is an awesome thing. It's not a matter of like, oh, you only got a 170. I mean, come on. It's all subjective anyway. It's all subjective anyway. It's like two intelligent people, always when you get a chance to have two intelligent people communicate, you can do nothing but learn. No matter if you're a 250 IQ, there's going to be something in there that you don't know.
And I love learning from people. So that's why we've got Michael back on the show, certified health nut here in Sedona. Michael, the Sedona UFO tour guide. He wrote the book, Wake Up and Do Something. I really love that. Look in the mirror and just do something. Stop complaining. And he's Michael of Sedona. He doesn't even have his last name is of Sedona.
Care. Michael of Sedona.
I don't care.
Why not?
So last video, we established a little bit about your background. You were tested as a kid. You got a 182 IQ. The joke referenced earlier was I only got a 170. Okay, touche. You're an inventor. You worked. Tell them a little bit about your background, and then let's get into the UFO stuff.
Sure.
Deeply.
So in 10 years working for a military contractor, I worked on everything from analog, digital, RF, electronics to coding in multiple languages, Ada, Fortran, and a few others. And I got involved in designing test equipment for missiles and things. So I got to be on the leading edge, let's just say, of technology and the satellite systems that I've known. Oh, I didn't tell you this. The probe, the Galileo probe that landed on Jupiter, I'm the guy that sealed it up. I actually did the torque sequence on the whole top to tighten that up to be able to purge it, nitrogen fill it, and all that kind of stuff so we can handle the drop into the Jovian atmosphere.
So you worked on some terrestrial ET projects.
Yeah, well, good space program stuff and some shuttle stuff too. But really, it was when I left that my life changed, because I retired in 1990 at 32 years of age. I had enough of the corporate world. And so I decided I wanted to do things that were fun and exciting. And eventually, this led into that. In July of 2001, at 3 in the morning, I get awakened from a sleep, back when I used to dream, awakened from a sleep, and I'm sliding sideways out of my waterbed. And my wife's in distress, and I can't help her, and that's just the way it is, and I had to deal with that. And I'm going down the hall, going from horizontal to vertical at the end of the hall. I turn around the corner at the end of the hall into my kitchen, and there in front of the stove and microwave at 3:05, because my eyeball saw the microwave clock, so it's in my brain forever. So at 3:05, these 3 8-foot, very white, slightly blue, kind of been described as tall whites, Nordics, but they were still different than them. And I'll tell you why. Because they didn't have the head structure of those particular beings. They were a little wider in the cranial area compared to the jaw area, but not so much like you see the grays are. So it was kind of an in the middle thing. Their eyes were bright blue, like cornflower blue with white centers. They didn't have black pupils, they had white centers. The nose is about half the size of mine, the mouth is about half the size of mine, and it didn't move. They had 4 fingers that were like twice the length of mine, which as a basketball coach I noticed right away. 8-foot guys with right? Why not, right? So that's all. This is all going in milliseconds through my brain, by the way. And so I finally, after scanning them, go stare at their chin, because the inner circle that I alluded to back in the last episode, the inner circle of the people that were uncovering government cover-ups, some of them had met ETs before. And so I learned from them, don't stare into ET's eyes. It'll hypnotize you, it'll numb you. And I already had enough of that numbing stuff. So I stared at their chin then, and in my mind, as fast as I could, in English, I'm thinking, who are you, where are you from, who are you, where are you from, who are you, where are you from, who are you, where are you from?
You didn't think in 4chan?
Right, and I didn't think in visual. That's what they communicate in, is visual stream. And so I'm doing this audio thing, which I know that they don't probably speak English, but it got them to present the June Cleaver picture in my head that wiped out everything I could think of. I just had a giant June Cleaver looking down with the pearls on and the hands on the hips. That's a beaver, and I'm the beaver. They're telling me I'm an impetulant child.
This is for people that don't know the June Cleaver reference. She's a 50s mom sitcom.
Leave It to Beaver was the name of the show.
Leave It to Beaver. Yeah, very
Barbara Billingsley was the actress. Hugh Beaumont played the husband.
Puritanical pearl necklace and the whole nine. 50s mom.
And so when she looked down at the beaver, he had really done something wrong. So they were letting me know to stop being a petulant child. Now, my whole life I've not been a petulant child. If I had something to say, I said it, and teachers maybe sometimes didn't like it, but there was always a reason for it. So I was being really brought down, and it was great to crush my ego because I needed that kind of a thing to give me more of a perspective of what's really important in this world, which is a lot bigger than just the people. There's more going on. So the final, I got to get my question answered on the who are you, where are you from, because the being that was over on their left, my right, moved a hand slightly, and this shield of space appeared. This like ovoid of space. I mean, it was like space had appeared right in my kitchen, and if I would have dove into it, then I would end up out in space, and my vessels would have exploded, and that would have been the end of me. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. But in that shield of space, they showed the Crux constellation, the Southern Cross. You can't see it from above the equator. And I recognized that, and so they were basically telling me, I believe, that they were from the Crux constellation, not which star, not which planet. They weren't interested in telling me any more than that, but so I call them Cruxians. So maybe if any of you out there have had a chance to meet ETs and they look 8 feet tall, very white, slightly blue bumps on their head, if you know they're from Crux or somewhere else, I'd appreciate you letting us know. But that was the end. Then the whole next thing that happened was this download. And from their eyes, although I was staring at their chins, from their eyes came this multi-channel video stream right here into my forehead. For it seemed like 60 to 90 minutes. You know how mess go in, how you feel like you're just outside your body just a little bit?
Yeah.
Kind of like not quite in sync, but like, that's what it felt like for what felt like 60 to 90 minutes. When they were done with this download, and I could feel my feet again, I realized that I was standing on my own 2 feet. I saw the microwave clock. It was 3:17. So it had been 12 minutes. But the whole time thing was, nice. And they downloaded what I estimate. Now I'm a computer science guy. Okay, I'm pretty good at it. I code in 7 languages and 5 scripts. I think like a computer. Started coding in 1972. So I estimated that download in a high definition video would be equivalent to about 5 exabytes. Now an exabyte is 1,000,000 terabytes. So 1 billion gigabytes. Okay, so 5 of those shoved into my head, information. And what's really cool about that is when I take people out on a tour, and they ask me a question, doesn't matter what the question is, out rolls the answer, and I say, well, check that out because it seems pretty logical to me. So I don't even know what I know. And so when people ask, well, do you keep getting visited?
What's going to happen
ET?
on December 21st, 2020? Everybody wants to know.
We can't do that on this episode.
Yes, we can.
We can?
Yes.
December 21st. Okay, during
It's
the alignment.
December 8th.
Okay, so during the alignment, the news around the world is going to be shocking because the big thing that's been in all the news that you've heard for the last 2 things that are big in all the news is finally going to get blown open for what it was, which was an attempt to enslave the mankind's souls. So we're busting that open, and we're going to win our freedom back as a species.
I love it. That's what we're talking about. Certified Health Nut here. Peace on Earth, coming to planet Earth right around the corner. Get ready for it. So back to the ETs. So tell us the information. What's the messages that you got from the ETs? So was that the last time you got contacted?
That was the last time I was contacted. I figured they must have downloaded everything that they needed into me at that point. Because again, if a question is asked to me and I need it, and I can ask myself, then out comes the answer. Except for individual human histories. Doesn't work. Individual being histories. If you ask me, what the producer over here did, 6 weeks ago, I had no idea. I really don't know. But I can tell you that if you want to know the reality of time space, if you want to know the war that's going on in space, on Earth, under Earth right now simultaneously, I have the details on that. If you want to know
tell us that.
bioweapon that's
Tell us
going on, I
that.
can tell you
Yeah,
about that.
tell us that.
Okay, so there's a war going on for basically it's the war of good and evil done through proxy in this dimension, as it occasionally does, although most of this is being done on 7th dimension. Sometimes it spills down into 3-4 where we are. And right now it's definitely spilled into 3-4, just like Iran-Iraq really wasn't Iran-Iraq, it was US-Russia. Okay, it was the same kind of thing with what we'll call the Alliance and the Cabal. Okay, the Alliance and the Cabal, just to help bring David Wilcock into this too, because he kind of made a standard out of those. So the Alliance is the good guys, Cabal is the bad guys. If you like freedom for the human being and individual, and not being enslaved to some 300 people on Earth that wipe out everybody but 500 million and then control the resources and enslave them to their benefit. If you're not for that, you're with the Alliance. So the Alliance has part of Space Force.
Can you still be a Biden supporter if you're aligned with that?
Why would you support somebody that's stolen $150 billion in foreign aid assets and funneled it back through his friends and stuff? Why would you support someone that likes to fondle 9-year-olds? I don't know. But maybe you can figure that out. But I can't. So we've got
moving on.
So edit, right? So we've got a battle going on. It's actually on Earth right now, and part of what's going on is they're trying to convince you that there's this invisible enemy called a virus that's out to get you any moment, so you need to stay home.
The brain virus.
Meanwhile,
is that what you're talking about?
Well, I have a health condition.
Me too.
My health condition is I'm too smart to fall for their bullshit. That's all, really. I got a great meme on See What I Meme. That's one of my websites. I got a great meme on there that's got an IQ chart, right? And it says, think of mask wearing as an intelligence test. And it's got 180, I never wore a mask. 170, I gave it up in March. 160, I gave it up in April. Down at the bottom, 80, I'm still wearing a mask. So I love to make fun of that in order for people to maybe just take a minute and think of the possibility that they've been lied to by the idiot box.
Oh, my grandmother used to call it the idiot box.
Yeah. I tell people, if you want your IQ to jump by 20 points, cut the cable. Yeah.
So what else did the ETs have to say?
So
what's their message for us?
They had two really important messages that I'd like to say here. And one of them, the second most important one, is there's no such thing as a benevolent species. There's no such thing as a malevolent species. No such thing as benevolent species, no such thing as malevolent species. There's no perfectly good group. Not the Pleiadians, sorry. There's no perfectly malevolent group, not the reptilians. I'm sorry, there's good and bad in all groups, and it was a very important message. They really emphasized this, and everything that they gave me as a message, I also tried to relate into a corollary in the human condition. And in this particular case, there's no such thing as a perfectly good group of humans. There's no such thing as a perfectly bad group of humans. So while we make fun of certain groups of humans here on, we don't really mean that all of them are bad or all of them are good, because there's good and bad in all groups. So that was a second most important thing that they told me in this download.
So kind of stay balanced between people and understanding, and we're in this dimension. That's according to this dimension.
Well,
right?
don't get yourself into a group that has an opposing group and say we're all good and they're all bad, because that's divide and conquer. Yeah. Even sheep have to have dogs. Why do people hurt people? It makes no sense. So we need to think about the 85% of things that we agree on, not the 15% of things that we disagree on.
Right. Exactly.
Let that be a
air, water, soil, food.
Yeah, important. Your kids being able to go outside and go get an education and come home smarter than when they left in a safe way. That's kind of cool.
We can
I like
agree
that
on
idea.
That. Making things sustainable, biomimicry.
Everybody has to pay the same price for something. You can't charge somebody less or more because you like them or don't like them. Their group of people, discrimination, all that kind of stuff. Those are good things. We can agree on that.
New money supply.
A real money supply.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gift economy.
U.S.
is what I'm praying for.
The Federal Reserve is going to be turned over. The Federal Reserve Act is going to be nullified. The Federal Reserve debt will then go back onto the corporation because it's done in fraud. And there's going to be U.S. notes pressed. They're vertical instead of horizontal, very colorful. And they're coming out in the next, I'll say, 16 months.
Great. Beautiful. Okay. What's the second message they have?
The most important message is, in a nutshell, we're here to do for others. We're here to do for others. I don't like the phrase service to others, because that means you're subservient, because we're all the same, we're all equal, we all have equal potential, even 170s and 185s, we're all equal, okay? So it's helping each other is what it's all about, doing for each other. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is take a drink of water and I think, who can I help today? Who can I call today? Who can I do something for today that would really help them out? They're not expecting it. Puts a smile on their face, puts a smile on my face. Isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, we're helping the psycho chickens out there because everybody's got their psycho chicken. He said nobody's 100% malevolent, nobody's 100% benevolent, right? So you psycho chickens out there, that is everybody. Peace out in cyberspace. Where can people find more information about you in Sedona?
SedonaUFOTourGuide.com. And if you want to jump down into the rabbit holes to see all the videos that have been censored off of YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, wakeupandosomething.com.